Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Lorenzo's Mission a Day, and today we have episode 30. When, as we discussed yesterday, we will be flying to Duna. As you can see here in the mission controller, we have about 80,000 credits, and we will be doing this mission made by J Cheetah to put a rover on Duna. There is many requirements for parts and the like, but the basic goal is to get a rover with all the parts to Duna at an altitude of less than 2,500 meters. So if we land in a higher location, then we have to drive to a lower location and do the science there. Now, to do this, we will go to the vehicle assembly building, where I will show you the rocket that will put us, hopefully, on the red planet, the Duna rover B. Here we are loading it. And as you are about to see, well, there's the Delta V display. As you're about to see, it is a rocket with a rover on top, with a central stage that has spare liquid fuel tanks and solid boosters. The wheel hubs are made out of batteries. The mission controller, the mission specified 6 of these round batteries, so 4 of them are the wheel hubs and 2 of them are on top and the bottom. As the central, we have the materials bay and some goo containers, of course lights as well, and a parachute on top that will then be jetted away by the 4 Separatrons. And there's a small fuel tank with some engines that can help to cushion the landing should we be coming down a little bit too fast. So that's the rover, and as a booster stage we have a central core with 2 engines, and attached to the side are 2 spare fuel tanks pushed up by solid rocket boosters. Now, experienced players might recognize this as being a little bit of a small vessel to go and land a rover on Duna. The Delta V is 5.5 kilometers per second, give or take, and that is not quite enough. You might have noticed that the docking ports on the side of the rocket, and this is one of the first interplanetary missions that will have a planned refueling stop. We now have a kethane mining robot that mines kethane, refines it into fuel at Minmus, so this rocket will only need to get to Minmus. As soon as it gets there, it will be refueled, and that should give it plenty of Delta V to get to Duna, land the rover there, and do all the science. We haven't done any Duna surface science yet, nor any atmospheric science. So, as far as science goes, I'm having high hopes for this mission. So, let's move on to the launch and see how that goes. So, here we are at the launch pad. Everything is looking fine and dandy. And as you know, if this rocket launches without any problems, any hiccups, if it streaks into the dawn around the planet, then I'm not going to show the whole bit. So, if the next thing you see is a rocket in the atmosphere, there's going to be trouble, and if not, then you will see me in orbit, probably. So, see you in a bit. So here we are in orbit, burning for Duna. No, not burning for Duna, burning for Minmus. We have set up the rendezvous there, and our fuel tanks are running a little bit low. This is because we don't have a lot of fuel. Very simple reason. I hope I did put enough in it to actually get to Minmus, but we shall see so soon enough. Well, we did actually make it to Minmus, but the fuel is completely gone. There's nothing left, 2 or 3 units at most. So we are stuck here until we can make the kethane miner rendezvous with us here at Minmus. Now, I'm not going to just jump cut over this, I'm going to fast forward it to the tune of a funky music. Because rendezvous and spaceflight is what you're watching this channel for. If it's not something you're watching the channel for, if you want to see something else, let me know, and if it's not too outlandish, I might just go ahead and do it. So here goes the docking attempt. Here we are, and docked. That was a little bit wobbly on the final approach, and what we're going to do now is transfer, well, basically all the fuel we have in this Kethane miner to the rocket, making it have enough delta V to get to Duna, probably, hopefully. We're going to get about 1.5 full tanks in that booster stage. Well, that's now our interplanetary stage, so that should be enough. After the refueling, the miner is going to return to Minmus, obviously. I'm not going to show that in this video, I'll do that off screen. It will land and refine, mine, and, well, gather more fuel for a subsequent mission. I'm going to cut it here now because, well, transferring the fuel is not the most interesting spending of your video time, your very valuable time, dear viewer. I appreciate your time, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, see you at Duna. I couldn't resist putting this shot in here of the receding miner platform leaving the vessel fully fueled. So the next thing you're going to see is Duna. Here we are coming up on Duna, and the approach, the intersect we got with the planet is not that tidy. It has a fairly high periapsis, it's not coming to go, great language skills there. It's not going to be very close, but I'm not worried about that too much because I have a lot of fuel in the rocket, and I even set up here an intercept with Ike. So we're going to slow down near Ike, getting to do some science near that moon. And, well, that should give us more science points, and all the fuel in the rocket should be enough to get us into an orbit around Ike and then move on to Duna, where we can plunge the rover into the atmosphere. So that should work out well. Coming up here on the Ike sphere of influence transition, there we go, in Ike's sphere of influence now. And let us see how much delta V we need to get into an orbit there. Wow, that's quite a lot. We're now at 800 meters per second of delta V. It's about 1,000, 968 meters per second. That's a lot more than I expected, and hopefully we will be able to do that. I'm going to attempt that burn, and afterwards I will speak to you again. Something terrible is happening. We are running out of fuel. We are in fact out of fuel now, and we are 100 meters per second short of establishing Ike orbit, not to mention Duna orbit, and this means the rocket will shoot out of the Dunian system and will not land on Duna. This is 100% due to hubris. I could have made it quite easily had I fine-tuned the approach to hit Duna's atmosphere instead of gallivanting around, doing science at Ike, and then trying to get back. After that, there's nothing we can do now. Well, what I could try is to use the Separatrons to get us at least stabilized around Ike. Although that's a bit of a long shot. These are the things that was used in the movie Gravity, the Soyuz landing thrusters to get it to change orbit to a different space station. Is probably not something that's going to be feasible here. Let me just try that anyway. Trying the Separatrons. Here we go. No, that didn't quite do enough. Didn't quite do enough for us. We're still shooting off into interplanetary space, into solar orbit. This rover now lonely in space will shoot off into anywhere. We're going to go back to the space center, and we will probably have to scrounge up some money and try this mission again tomorrow. We did do a lot of science, so at some point I'm going to go into the R&D station to get some of that, to convert it into new technologies, new parts, new amazing things. But mission success, landing the rover on Duna and doing science there, and not to mention getting a lot of money from our mission, that will have to wait because we didn't do it. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, Remember, if you watched it, you just gave me 100 credits to fund the next mission, which will probably look very similar. And if you haven't, do subscribe. That will give me 1,000 credits. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. Goodbye.